Networks don't talk about it. Government can't tax it. But sports betting is a $200 billion a year business.
That's a major U.S. Supreme Court ruling that could open the door for legalized sports betting all across the country.
The Supreme Court is giving the green light for states to determine on their own whether they want to legalize sports gambling.
Tell Donahue his next pick is good for 20 grand, but I need him to guarantee a win, okay? I need a lock.
He's not that fucking good.
No, Tommy, he has to. All right, he has to, or else they're going to kill me. Do you realize this, Tommy? They're going to fucking kill me. I can't afford to gamble anymore. I need a fucking lock.
Fucking lock, and the boys are back to give it to him. Welcome in episode 8 of Lock Talk. Joey and Jake back on the mic. A little week hiatus. Boys were busy. It happens. This is life. That's how she goes. Great to be back. Very, very excited. We've got a lot to go through. We haven't had a chance to talk really. We tried to hold back as much side conversation before hopping on as we could. So we're going to jump through anything. First and foremost, Joey, welcome back, man.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, we, our busy schedules, they got in the way the past week or so, but we're back. Kind of can't believe it's episode 8. I was kind of shocked when you said that, but we're here. We got a couple weeks of football under the belt. We're ready to talk some locks.
Yeah, man. Very excited. So looking through today's episode, stories we missed. We talked a little bit of college football. We had some week 0 talk last time we were both together. Now we've got a lot, not a lot to discuss, but we got plenty to discuss. NFL, we've got week 1 and 2, as well as now we're on to week 3 already for the NFL. We talked about it just before Joey and I. We're a quarter of the way through the regular season for college football already. So we're going to touch on my futures and go through a little bit of a mini preview of week 4. We also talked about it before. The slate this weekend rocks. We had a little bit of a downtrodden slate for those of you that looked. And that's why I honestly wasn't that upset we didn't get together last week and talk, because it was not a super great slate.
Yeah,
anyway.
It would have been a lot of Colorado talk too.
Right.
I mean,
it would be.
There are other teams out there, so
there definitely are.
It's a pretty juicy slate for Saturday.
I'm very excited.
So for all the people who, like myself, who will be attending a wedding, it is fall wedding season. I hope the venue that you're going to has TVs. I need to do research to see if mine does. If the venue I'm going to has TVs.
The percentages of that, I don't think it's very high.
I think this one that I'm going to has TVs.
Really? Well, I guess you guys might have more bar-ish type venues, maybe. I don't know.
Like there's an inside bar, I'm pretty sure. So I'm sure there will be a TV or two. But I also have my phone. So,
well, for the record, the O'Kane wedding next summer will not have TVs. That was very much by design. So let's talk. Before we get into the NFL, we're gonna have plenty of NFL talk. I do want to talk some college football. Some stories we missed early. And again, we do have week 4 slate. First thing, we already mentioned them, but it is the story of the college football world. It's really the story of the sports world, depending on, I guess, what your lexicon is. Colorado. Prime in Colorado. They're 3-0. If you listen to this program at the beginning of the season, I chose Colorado as a over 3.5 win total. A lot of us are parading around. Some people that I won't name have already lost their $1,000 bet that they had on the under. Shout out to that nameless gentleman. Joey, they get the big thing for me is it was all fun. They played kind of a meh TCU team as we've seen. They play Colorado State last week to double overtime and not a great Nebraska team. Bo Nix is coming. Or actually, you're going to Bo Nix. So you're going to Oregon this week. This is one of those premier matchups that I think they had the 5th most watched game in ESPN history last Saturday.
Crazy shit.
So, and I mean, this is going to be another huge one, and it's only leading up to what's going to happen with USC the week after. The big thing for me, the Buffs are getting 21 points. That's a lot. That's a lot of points. I personally do I think they're going to win the game? No. I personally do think, though, 21 points is way too many points.
Right. The Travis Hunter news is huge. Not gonna lie, I haven't watched a second of Bo Nix in Oregon this season. But the 21 points, that's a lot of points, as you said. So
the only thing that they have going for them is that they hung like 80 points on Portland State, who I then believe went on the next week and hung 91 points on North American University. Don't know if you saw that one. Unbelievable score in that game for those of you that keep up with your FCS. So we won't talk too much Colorado. There's been so much Colorado talk, and it'll only go more during the season. Let's talk about some teams that maybe are a little, as I put down here, Tiffany Gomez, our queen. Them motherfuckers aren't real. Clemson, Alabama. And we're going to talk about Alabama. I'll talk about Alabama in a little bit here because I am betting their game this weekend. Clemson loses to Duke, another team that I had a future on. Love that. Keep patting myself on the back. Not really sure if I want to get too crazy digging Nick Saban's grave. Feel like people have done that in the past, maybe once or twice, and have gotten burned by it. But to me, both of those teams are definitely not the powers they were. Clemson especially. Clemson's been falling off for now a few years. And it's just, to me, the portal thing and the NIL has diluted a lot of the disparity between the great teams and the teams that were pretty good, right on the cusp. Florida State. Now we're seeing good team. Granted, they almost lost to Boston College last weekend. So I mean, it's
Boston College. That was a big emotional game for them. The red bandana game. They were like 26-point dogs, and they almost won outright. So
I laid 24 and a half.
Boston College some love on this pod.
I laid 24 and a half last weekend.
It closed at? Okay.
It was right around that at close. I think I got a point worse. So I think it closed at like 23 and a half. But regardless, I don't think there was 1 second in the second half where I think we were up there. I shouldn't say we, I'm not a Florida State fan, up by 20. But no, like you said, huge shout out. This is like the game for Boston College fans. I know that's more your neck of the country. And I'm sure you've got buddies that maybe had gone there, but to us in the Midwest, we get to the red bandana game really hadn't been a thing that'd been on my radar until the last few years. Now you get the sweet jerseys, you get all the hype that, as much hype as Boston College can get for a game, and shit, man, they almost pulled it off this year. So, but big shout outs to BC. I agree. They deserve more because this is a team that was not supposed to be anything. Before we get into some future looks in college football, we do have probably a lock now for the number one pick of the NFL draft. Can we probably agree on that? Whether it's a traded pick or a team that's actually selecting, Caleb Williams is as advertised.
Yeah, it's been a few episodes since we've been on talking about him, so it feels right to talk about him again. But plus 380 right now. What would he be, the first back-to-back since
Tebow?
Archie Griffin?
No, that's right. Tebow wasn't back-to-back. Tebow just won twice. Damn.
It would be some crazy shit if he won back-to-back for that reason. But yeah, he's leading it right now. He looks great. I didn't know that Michael Penix was second, but he's
just had his third straight 400-yard game.
Yeah.
My boy is balling.
Quinn and Hartman, Travis Daniels. So it hasn't really changed since before the season started when we were talking about them. But
I think yours fell back. I will say one guy that you don't really see at the top of the list that, again, I told you, don't bet on him because he sucks. You see Drake May down there at plus 4,500. I believe he was the second favorite to win the Heisman. He threw one touchdown his first game. I believe none his second game.
Yeah.
Beat Minnesota.
So through 4 weeks, your take looks pretty accurate.
Holding water, we'll say.
So yeah, well done. I mean, he's gonna need to do some unheard of things to climb the ranks again. So
I'd feel better about it if my reasoning being Phil Longo, him leaving, if that, held a little bit more water, because it obviously isn't helping at Wisconsin. But we're not going to talk about Badgers today. I'm going to leave that be. But no, we like you said, we look at the Heisman odds. It pretty much is the same. You do see Shedeur Sanders sliding up there at plus 2,500. They've got him in 9th, so he does crack the top 10. I was surprised Tyler Van Dyke out of Miami, it does crack the top 10 as well. And then you see Bo Nix right behind. So it's probably right now, I mean, Ewers hasn't even, to me, I don't think Quinn Ewers, he's good, not great. His team is very good. Sam Hartman is going to start. So they play Ohio State this weekend. That's another game that
Big one.
Very excited. That's one that I don't have on my card right now, but I promise we're going to talk lead pipe lock for NFL later. My lead pipe lock for college football this weekend, and it's not available yet. You're going to get Notre Dame around 23.5, 24 points for the team total. I love it, love it, love it. The Notre Dame probably has maybe the most balanced attack that I've seen in the NCAA outside of like Alabama the last few years. Georgia kind of had it with Stetson Bennett, but I will say Sam Hartman's incredible. And their run game with Etienne, or I forget exactly how to pronounce it.
Estime, I think.
Estime, right? That's right.
Yeah.
Etienne is down in Florida.
I think that's how you pronounce it, but
Nope,
either way,
Estime, you're right.
They're for real. Yeah, they look really good. So they've been really exciting so far. I know, people shit on them all the time, but he's legit. The Estime, whatever we want to call him,
sure,
he's great, man. They're playing well. So you think it's going to be 23.5? All right, that's something worth monitoring.
I did the extrapolation using the total and the spread, so I was around 23, 24 points. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get it up here. But anyway, Saturday. Let's talk Saturday. So I'm seeing +3
for Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So they were 3.5. So that game is tightening up a little bit.
I thought you said 23.
No. 23, their team total.
I thought you said 23. I was like, that's
no. 23. I would take out a mortgage, a second one. And I'd stroll on up to the reservation up in Green Bay, and I would place it all on that. But no, I was looking at their team total, just extrapolating what it will be versus looking at the spread and the total. And actually, it is released now. And it's actually up to 26.5, which I still like. Getting up to 26.5, you tell me 27 points. Ohio State, to me, I don't fear. I don't. This is maybe the year that the good teams, the traditionally good teams, aren't, I don't think, as good as we're used to. We saw Georgia and Alabama both struggle last weekend. Alabama against USF. Georgia against South Carolina. They did kind of open it up in the second half and finish them off, but the good teams aren't as good. I think the gap is there. And let's talk about it. Before we do jump into it, let's talk one more thing on futures, because we didn't get a chance to do it. The national champion. Right now, in the past, I would say if you're not betting Georgia, you're an idiot. This is the year where there's options out there. And one of those options that's sneaking in there, we talked about it, is the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Plus 1,600 right now.
Plus 1,600.
They've been they haven't really lived it up to expectations so far. I do think they're going to pick it up. If they stomp the shit out of Iowa this week, which, while we're on it, 14.5 point spread. Iowa is good. Kind of weird to say that after the past few years. Iowa looks pretty good this year. Penn State's on a roll against the spread.
They have a little bit of an offense.
They do. Penn State is on a roll against the spread, but it's a whiteout game.
It is a whiteout game.
Okay. It's a whiteout game.
Whiteout game.
So if Penn State goes in and kicks the shit out of Iowa, that'd be great. But 7:30.
It's 7:30. It's Penn State. It's going to be really white. For those of you that
it's going to be loud.
You haven't seen it at this point, I don't know how you've never seen
hearing.
It's one of those stadium experiences that you turn it on, and even if you're not a fan, you're going to get goosebumps because it is that awesome. So let's let's just jump right into the slate here and just talk a little bit about college football this weekend. I want to run through, before we get through the whole card, I did put in, for some reason, where's the top 25 here? Here we go. So should we just run through? I mean, shoot, we got a decent amount of top 25 matchups here. Do you want to start? Do you want to start in the Northwest, or do you want to start down in the SEC?
Start Northwest. Let's go west to east. Why not?
West to east, Oregon State, Washington State.
This is a sneaky good game.
Sneaky great game. I'm very excited.
Crazy how Oregon State, Washington State is a good game.
And respect, they're getting respect. 14th in the country, Oregon State.
Well, you know, you and I tend to bash the Pac-12, but
We do.
I think it's 2.5 going to Wazoo. No,
3 up to
3 now. Both those
3.
quarterbacks look really good.
Mm-hmm. Big fan of
Oregon
Cam Ward.
State, they didn't cover last week.
This is a game that is on my card this weekend. I got it at 3. So I currently have it I have got Washington State +3. I watched Washington State. I've watched them actually, admittedly, more than I probably would like to admit. I did watch their first week. They played Colorado State, the team that just beat Colorado, the team that everyone's super duper excited about and thinks is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Don't get me wrong. I love them too. They beat Colorado State 50-24, and Cam Ward lit them the fuck up for 450 yards. This kid is as legit as it gets at quarterback. And he's facing probably the biggest, I don't think they have a comeback player of the year award for college football. But if you had one, DJ Uiagalelei is definitely leading that charge.
Yeah. And Oregon State looks good, but for Wazoo, home game, as you said, Ward looks really good. They already have a good win over your Badgers.
They did.
So I think they keep the momentum going. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out on top. You might want to look at the money line there for the home dogs.
Yeah, I think it's +125. Probably get around 135 on Bet Openly right now. So definitely shout out Bet Openly. One of many good games this weekend. But let's stay out west. Another ranked matchup: UCLA and Utah. We just keep getting some solid Pac-12 teams. Pac-12 started pretty hot. I don't think they've had one of their top teams lose yet. So Utah laying 4.5. I lucked out, or I did not luck out last week. I had Utah laying 7.5. I don't know if you saw the end of the Utah-Baylor game, the miracle cover instead of most people pushed at 7. I had 7.5, unfortunately, so I did not cover. I'm not super high on Utah, but at the same time, I haven't watched enough UCLA to probably jump in bed with them yet. Have you had a chance to? I mean, UCLA, I don't think has had much of they played Coastal to 2 touchdowns. San Diego State 35-10 is impressive. Covered 13, and they did cover 35.5 last weekend against NCC. But to me, it's a matchup that UCLA won 42-32, but they did DTR last year. I mean, this is a completely different team.
Yeah, no DTR going up against that Utah D. I mean, my mind goes to Utah, but
no Cam Rising, I think, still is that. Let me double check.
I think he's still up in the air, his status. I don't know much about UCLA though this year, so I can't speak to them.
Yeah, and is looking as far as Cam Rising. UCLA football is preparing for his debut, so that looks like Cam Rising is going to play. But again, I don't have enough probably to take a side in that one, so I'm going to pass. Looks like you are probably as well. Nothing really to worry about. USC's playing ASU, Cal's playing Washington, a couple of stinkers out west. We talked about it already. Looking at Oregon, they are laying 21 at home against Colorado. 71.5 point total. Shout out. I think that's the first 70 point total of the season. Wow. And rightfully so. That is going to be and you could play it 2 ways. I mean, you could say, yeah, 71 points, or you could say the fact that, okay, well, Oregon, I don't know. 70 points is going to be fun. That might be a game that I just look to live bet and watch the first 10 minutes and get on. But to me, that's a lot more points than I want to go for. I will say Shedeur Sanders, 333 passing yards. If you're into, he might, depending how things go, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, he is somebody that I look at to be a garbage time quarterback club member, maybe a NCAA addition, but we're not there yet. They're still 3-0. So Colorado, you're still 3-0. Moving towards the middle of the country here, one game that actually it's getting played out east, but it does involve Oklahoma. OU laying 14.5 at Cincinnati. I am terrified, Joey. You want to know why?
Tell me.
Well, I locked in the total at 60.5 this morning, and it is 57.5.
Oh,
what the fuck?
the money's coming in, man.
I mean, come on.
Shit.
The kid thought that was going to be a shootout. We saw OU drop 66 against Tulsa, 73 against Arkansas State. We saw 66 out of Cincinnati against Eastern Carolina. Oh boy. That doesn't make me feel good.
Yeah. Well, you never know, man. There's a lot of money coming in on that under, it looks like, but I have some hope.
These teams average a combined 94.5 points.
Hedge that shit.
I could probably middle that, right? Yeah, I can middle that.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't followed
I might try to middle that.
Let's talk some more exciting matchups.
Yeah, let's talk some more exciting matchups.
Let's talk LSU Arkansas.
I like that. I was hoping you were going there. I have a bone to pick.
18 or so points right now going to LSU. I'm trying to find what it's at right now.
Yep, 17 and a half.
The total at 56. I think neither defense is that good, and LSU can score in bunches. I think it's going to be I could see a 40, like a 45 to 21 type of game. LSU.
I'm gonna hit you with the not so fast, Lee Corso.
All right.
Last season.
LSU can score.
Last season. Very similar LSU team. 13-10 final. Tigers win. Season before, 16-13 Hogs. I will say my bone to pick. I had Arkansas paired up with not the Jags. Arkansas paired up with the Chargers actually last weekend. So fuck both them and the Chargers because they lost to BYU outright. Arkansas was supposed to be incredible. I stood on 10 toes down saying that they had one of the best backfields in the country. I was wrong. Hand up. I was very wrong. Arkansas, not good. Joey, I disagree with your bet, but that's okay. That's okay.
I'm going to go with the over.
At least you didn't lose 3 points on the game. I lost 3 points and they didn't even fucking kick off yet in the other game. So
LSU can light it up, though.
They can. No. They absolutely can. I had the over in the LSU game last week, and they had 41 points.
Hit that over. If it goes way under, yeah, their past few years were 16, 13 type games. So if I'm dead wrong, I'll admit it, and you'll be right. I'll give you that.
I will give you some hope. BYU dropped 38 on Arkansas last week.
No, yeah, Arkansas.
BYU.
LSU can light them up. So
I don't.
56 points.
It's not a lot of points. 55.5. You can find it.
Anyway, when we in a bit when we talk about our favorite, our favorite dog, our favorite total, that might be my favorite total of the week.
Oh,
that might be.
We'll circle back.
What do you think about the spread? 18 or so?
That's a lot of points, especially in the SEC. And for a matchup that's been so close, it feels like a little bit of an overreaction to last week. Admittedly, I was out at Irish Fest doing the whitest things you could possibly imagine last weekend. during this game, so I didn't get a chance to keep up and watch Arkansas blow that to BYU. So it's a game that I'm going to stick away from. But I will say 17.5 I do like that number. Just as a number, 17.5, I do like betting that number because it is a good defensive
SEC
number.
Because I know
SEC.
You've said this. You don't like LSU's defense. And
I don't
Arkansas,
like LSU's.
They still have KJ Jefferson. They can put some points on the board too. That's why my mind went to the over.
And I will say another thing to go well with you is LSU does a good job defending the pass. They don't defend the run nearly as well. Last week they played Mississippi State, held them to 14 points, but that's because Mississippi State was a run and shoot 60 times, throw the ball 60 times a game. Well, their coach is kind of a dildo and came in and said, no, we're going to run pro style and we don't have the personnel for it, but we're going to do it anyways. And guess what? It doesn't work in the SEC. So I do think you're going to get a much better rushing attack that could do better against LSU. But keep that one in mind. I wouldn't hate to see that on your card. Another one out in that area of the country that has lost its shine a little bit. It's probably going to be one of the more intense matchups at the beginning of the season. Florida State is hosting Clemson's hosting Florida State, and Clemson is unranked for the first time in probably, I think, 2 years. I think a couple of years ago they were really bad, but I'm shocked at the number 2.5. I know BC held tight with Florida State. 2.5? What do you think? Is that?
Do you smell a trap?
That smells like a trap to me.
Does it smell like a trap to you?
I don't.
Man,
it does.
I haven't watched Clemson since that Duke game, but they're a little stinky. So, I don't want to say much. I kind of smell the trap.
I don't disagree. This was 34-28 last year, and that was at FSU. Oh, I can't, dude. I'm just looking at PC. They laid 25.5. And I mean, they barely snuck.
But is this the week like Clemson brings their shit together? You know.
Well, and it's like it's Clemson at Clemson. I don't know how many times Clemson has lost as a home dog. That's what I'd like to know is how many times Clemson has lost as a home dog in the Dabo era. I would imagine pretty low.
Yeah. It's still it's going to be a crazy environment there. Death Valley. Smells a little trappy to me.
It does smell a little trappy. I personally will not bet the spread. I don't hate 55.5. Honestly, FSU last week showed that.
So before you bet the over, there was already money coming in on the under.
Well, I'll tell you what. As much, we can only say so many good things about Boston College, respectfully. Giving up 29 points to Boston College shows me exactly what I need to see about Florida State's defense.
Okay.
Clemson, in the last 2 weeks, 66 and 48 points. Now, they played FAU, and I believe that's Charleston. I believe Charleston or College of Charleston. I don't believe they're FCS. I don't know. I think they are FCS. They're not D2 for football. Regardless, I think you could see some points last year, 34-28, the year before, 30-20, 45-14, 59-10. So we've seen it go over in 4 of the last 5 seasons. And I don't know. To me, it seems like a total that maybe you keep an eye on, see where it goes. But outside of that game, really looking at the rest of the schedule, we talked OSU a little bit with Notre Dame. Really probably don't need to touch on that. Any more to touch on with Iowa, Penn State? I mean, we kind of said that's a lot of points.
Yeah, it's a lot of points. I can see it going either way. So I don't want to jinx anything, but it's going to be a great game, I think, regardless. Yeah, Iowa looks good. It's like they have an offense, as we were saying. McNamara looks good. They are going into one of the tougher, if not the toughest environment in football. Night game, 14.5. I'm gonna stop right here. I have a question for you.
Yes.
We keep talking about how amazing the slate is on Saturday, which is true. But this time of year, we do get Friday games. So I'm going to ask you what your thoughts are
Don't. We have to talk about the Friday games.
Wisconsin, Purdue.
Thought I was gonna sneak out of that one.
Yeah, sorry,
yeah, man. Yeah, Wisconsin.
We have to do something on Friday night.
I'll be honest.
No.
I did not know we were playing Friday night, so I actually just talked to Nicole, my fiance, before this, and I was like, "Yo, on Friday we are going to cook out wings. We are going to enjoy the night, and then unfortunately around 7:00 we're going to turn on a football game that's probably going to make your fiance scream, yell, let it all out." Wisconsin. I think 3.5 is what we're at right now.
No, Wisconsin -6. I'm seeing.
Excuse me, that changed.
Don't know if there's any news, but that's your neck of the woods. That's your team.
Yeah, and they stink. I'll say it. Yeah, they stink. I was wrong. Luke Fickell, not gonna do it like Dion. It just doesn't. Sorry, it's hard. I'll say it. College football is hard. No, but the Wisconsin. I'm trying to pull up the line here. That I could have sworn that thing. No, it's always been 6 or 7. I don't know where I saw 3.5. My bad. But no, I don't like laying Wisconsin anything right now, especially on the road. Are you kidding me? I think we've lost 2 out of our last 3 at West Lafayette. No, I'm wrong. We actually have done relatively well there, but we haven't been covering. That's for sure. Oh, no, we covered 2. Maybe I talked myself into the Badgers.
Maybe. I apologize for bringing it up, but I'll distract you. I'll stay in the Midwest there a little bit. What's going on in Ames, Iowa? Because they are
dog shit.
They are favorites against Oklahoma State, who I know nothing about. They're -4 at home, 4 p.m. against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Again, I don't know anything about Oklahoma State this year, but Iowa State, they're pretty shit.
Iowa State's not good. It's a team that their coach was up for the USC job. They talked about him being some guys in the SEC. What is his name? Matt. I
think Campbell, right?
Yeah, Matt Campbell. I mean, he's a fucking lunatic. First of all, I mean, he loses his shit during games and he's an emotional coach. And I think it's to the detriment of his players. And you've seen Iowa State, when Brock Purdy was there, was very, very competitive. They have not been able to do that since. It's just not been something the last year and now second year without him that they can recreate. The defense isn't as good as it used to be. In the Big 12, it's turning into more of an offensive league. It's actually been an offensive league. Surprise, surprise. No, I don't like. It's one of those games where I really wish, honestly, I could bet against both teams because I really don't like either one. But if you're gonna take anything, I would probably. Oh my God! Look, Oklahoma State lost to South Bama 33-7 last week. Man, I mean, these teams are so bad. Like I knew they lost
for Iowa State. It seems like.
And the thing too is Iowa State lost to Ohio. Ohio is a decent team in the MAC, I will say, but you hung with Iowa. Yeah. Give me Iowa State, but God, I would only play that money line. I'd go to bet openly and just find it as cheap as you can and try to maybe bait somebody into some crazy odds. Maybe lay 2. I don't know.
There you go.
I'll tell you what.
Bet openly.
Shout out games that I won't be watching. That's what that is.
Well, 4 p.m. Maybe it's on one of your TVs or something, but
it may make it.
Why you mentioned Brock Purdy? 2 days from now, my Giants are going in San Francisco.
I'm excited.
10-point dogs right now, coming off a crazy win, which, that was an emotional win. I have my thoughts on, how that affected their momentum, their energy, all that. But let's talk NFL. Good segue right into NFL.
I'm ready to talk NFL.
We're 2 weeks in. Week 3 starts Thursday. Giants at Niners. Total's at 45. So total looks a little bit low.
Lower than
because San Francisco's been
they've been running it up.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Well, and the Giants have shown that they can give it up.
Yeah.
60-point hole to start the year. Never been done. Very impressive.
Yeah, no,
Never been won. Never been done, but also 1-1.
We haven't recorded since the start of the season, since all that shit's happened. So, yeah, a little bit of disappointment, but gutsy second half last week. Probably no Saquon. I know Dable isn't ruling him out yet, but he's probably not going to play. He shouldn't play. They should.
That line tells me he's not playing.
Right, and then Breida's a capable backup, and it could be a Matt Breida revenge game. Bookmark this. Matt Breida first touchdown.
Sure.
Lead pipe block of the week. Anyway, watching the Giants, watching DJ actually sling the ball and throw it to Slayton and Hyatt and Waller. Waller had a nice second half there. That gave me a lot of hope. I know it was against Arizona, but still, that gave me a lot of hope. The offensive line was surprisingly kind of holding up well. But Thursday's obviously a huge test against San Francisco, arguably the best team in the league. Bosa's healthy. Their defense is stellar. So I don't know what to make of this right now. I'm not going to touch it from a fan perspective, but 10 points, DJ could cover that. He could.
Let's just say we'll talk about that game later. Chargers, Minnesota is going to kick us off on.
You're not going to talk about Giants, Niners, but you're going to talk about fucking Kirk Cousins and Justin Herbert, who were both.
Like I said, I will have some to talk about in that game.
They can
later.
put up 50 points a game, but they're losing their games.
Yeah, well, they're the Chargers, maybe the most embarrassing, I would say, team in the league. I bet them again. I need to go to rehab, honestly. I honestly need to go to rehab. The Chargers have put me in such a deep, dark hole of I don't know how many times I can bet this team. I didn't bet them week 1. Miami, I actually like Miami. So I didn't bet them week 1. I bet them I bet them money line. They let Ryan Tannehill, who threw 3 picks in week 1, look decent. And it makes me question everything because we talked about them when we previewed this division. They've got dudes everywhere. And they can't fucking put it together. So I don't want to talk about the goddamn Chargers anymore. I'm so sick of it.
Yeah, I didn't really want to either, but they are really letting a lot of people down. I'm trying to find this one stat on X, not Twitter, X. That was it was really embarrassing for the Chargers. I can't get it up right now.
Well, and you mean we're looking at these two
games to look at. This actually might be a pretty fun game.
It 100% could be fun.
It could definitely be a shootout. It has all the makings of
54.5 points, dude. Vegas is
a Chargers Vikings shootout. Obviously, 2. I'm going to call them solid quarterbacks.
They're very solid,
but
solid is clean.
When it comes to winning games, not that solid.
No, not winner.
Is that a pick 'em right now?
Mm-hmm.
1 p.m. Sunday, I'll be on my couch. Yeah, I hope,
This will be a game that you'll see on Red Zone a shitload.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be sick of this game by the time it's over because it could be a game that scores 80 points. And, 54.5 is a lot.
You and I are going to bet the over, and it's going to be a 20-17 game. That's going to be great. But
there's going to be 7 interceptions.
And they're just not going to do anything with that. It is a pick 'em. I've been teasing a lot this year.
I had that conversation this morning. I have not dipped back into teases, and I will be this weekend. I'm very excited.
I
don't love the lines.
If they're smart or if they're if they're stupid or if they're smart.
Well, they're negative EV, Joey. They're negative EV.
I enjoy teasers. When I look at close lines like this one, I think, oh, maybe I'll tease the Chargers, and maybe I'll tease the Titans. Because the Titans are +3, and I actually like that line. I like them in that game as dogs. Let's move on to that game because that's what I'm seeing next. My underdog of the week, Titans +3.
Ooh.
Because you know who's an underdog? Mike fucking Vrabel. He's great as an underdog. You've probably seen the stats.
I have.
I don't have them up right now. He's great against the spread as an underdog. Browns have one less day of rest because they played in that dog shit of a game last night, and they lost their best player. And they're 3-point favorites at home. As you said, Tannehill looked pretty good yesterday.
Serviceable.
Or Sunday. He looked serviceable. I mean, between Hopkins and Treylon Burks and number 15, the guy, the hyphenated last name, he was throwing the ball like pretty well. They still have Derrick Henry. They have a decent defense, I think, middle of the road, and they have Mike Vrabel. I think they could go in and win outright. That's my dog of the week.
It's funny. I also have this bet as one of my picks of the week. It's my total of the week. It's my under. I'm going under
because it's under 40. I like it.
Yeah. 39.5, 40. They're it's teetering. I'm looking at multiple books. So you're going to get it right around 40. This is a game that we will not see on Red Zone. It is the polar opposite of what we just talked about. These two teams, you talk about Cleveland. Cleveland to me, probably the least impressive team. And yes, you beat Cincinnati in week 1.
Yeah.
And the Pittsburgh, you give up 2 defensive touchdowns. It's a chaotic team.
Watson doesn't look good. Watson doesn't look good. Their defense looks pretty good.
Their defense is definitely improved. Now, I think Zadarius Smith went down, which for anyone that's had Zadarius Smith on their team, you guys will see him in November, and then he'll probably start something in the locker room and be on another new team next year because that's the Zadarius Smith cycle. So they do lose one edge rusher, which when you have Myles Garrett on the other side, doesn't really matter. You can't put 2 tackles on him, so joke's on you. To me, this is a game that it walks like an under. It talks like an under. We're looking at wind gusts up in the double digits. Actually, not gusts, just wind up in the double digits during the game. So we get a little bit of a wind game. If you watch Ryan Tannehill throw a football, that is a football that is not cutting through wind.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought this up because we do
popping that shit. He looks like Matt Stafford last year, who we'll talk about. Matt Stafford does not look like that anymore.
Yeah,
he looks actually a lot better. But to me, I'm glad that we got multiple looks at it, but this is my under.
I like that.
Lock that in at 40.
I'm glad you brought up the weather because we are a weather podcast. Yeah. And you know what they say about the weather in Cleveland? Just wait 5 minutes. That lake effect is crazy. When I see totals under 40, when they hover around 38, 39, I tend to bet the under.
Mm-hmm.
So this past Sunday, I saw Commanders Broncos. It was like 38.5, I think. And I was like, I'm just going to dump a bunch of shit
do it
under. Total the final score was like 38-35 or something. So yeah, fun afternoon slate. It's always the 4:05 and the 4:25 games. That's East Coast time. That afternoon slate tends to kick my ass from a gambling perspective. Regardless how I do 1 p.m., regardless how I do Saturday with college football, that afternoon slate is the death of me. I don't know what it is.
It's the way she goes. Last week, actually, the second half of the day saved me. I got spanked in the first half, so thank God. Actually, for some reason, my bet wasn't showing. I'm just relocking it in at 40. So sorry for the pause. It's all for gambling, so it's okay.
You're good. We're talking about Titans Browns, which is one of the more, if not the most underwhelming game of this upcoming Sunday.
All right.
So perfect. What I'll do while Gavin watches or is looking up whatever, I'll move through the board here. Texans, Jags. Jags have been pretty underwhelming. I have Trevor Lawrence as my fantasy quarterback, and he isn't helping me out too much. I do think they turn it around at some point. Hopefully this is the week. 9.5-point favorites at home. Houston also does not look good yet. I thought Houston was going to win outright at home against Indy, but Anthony Richardson actually looks pretty good before he got hurt.
Yeah, that was really disappointing. He's got to stop getting himself hurt, and he's got to
it's safe. Yeah, it's the way he plays, but shit. Houston, Jacksonville, not thinking much of that already.
Yo,
Yes.
hold on. Before we move on, I look up because I was interested to see if Stroud, what his, because he's dealing with a shoulder.
Yeah.
Whatever happens with CJ Stroud happens with CJ Stroud. The Texans are without 4 starting offensive linemen this weekend.
Oh.
9.5, schmine and a half. I'm going to probably lay it. 4? And the Jags have a good enough pass rush, I think, in my opinion. Oh, I really like that. Or whatever the team total is going to be for Houston, probably like 17 or so. We're looking 17 and a half. Bingo. Depending on the 16 and a half. Yeah, I don't like it as much. But stinky game. We'll move on. Sorry.
No, you're good. We're looking at like I think you're looking at like a 27-13 game Jacksonville. I'm throwing these scores out because I'm going to be right on one of them.
It would be nice. We could clip it.
Yeah, I'm going to write it down too. Jacksonville, 20. I haven't even looked at their team total, but they're going to pick their shit up this week.
I expect them to as well, and I need them to because 10.5 wins is my future, and it's not. Took a little bit of a hitch in the road last week. I thought they were going to steal one there against the Chiefs. They just really couldn't get the offense moving. It's kind of disappointing because they do have all the weapons that you could ask for. So you were moving on to New England and the Jets, and we have not had a chance to talk about the Jets. Wow. Joey, I was down at my conference, my insurance deal last week, and I stop at the hotel, or stop before I go to the hotel, stop at Raising Cane's, grab some chicken. Very good move. And then I sit down, I turn on the TV, and Eight's sitting down. He doesn't look hurt, and the play looks like it's dead. I think I don't know if they were reviewing something. It was a weird sequence. Well, then he stood up, and I was like, oh, he's good. And he went right back down.
Yeah, that was the moment.
When he went down again, my heart kind of sunk. I don't wish ill will on him. Obviously, we also had draft compensation on the line. That sucked.
It was tough.
I feel for Jets fans. That sucks. You now have to watch Zach Wilson.
I didn't hear from some of my friends till like Thursday. I think.
I don't blame any Jets fans for anything that they would do, but this weekend they're playing New England and they're 3-point dogs. I like New England on the road here. I don't think very highly. I think the Jets are absolute chaos with Zach Wilson there. We saw last weekend they lost 30-10 Dallas. We're not very competitive. Their win against Buffalo, little fluky. They're not going to have 3 interceptions served up on a gold platter every week.
Game.
And to New England, they hung. I mean, they came back against Miami. They almost were able to push it. You stay a touchdown within Miami and 5 points within Philly. This, to me, is a decent New England team. And honestly, do I want to put them as my favorite fave? Do I bet Mac Jones? No, I'm not going to do it. Possibly, though, later in the week, we'll see what that line does. I don't hate the money line for the Patriots, about $1.50, depending on what shop. Let's keep rolling with some of these other lowlier games. Probably one that neither of us will watch. Carolina and Seattle. Bryce Young, poor Bryce Young. He is very inaccurate. If you've had a chance to watch him yet, he does not look great.
There are a few of these games that are hovering around 6 points when it comes to the spread.
Your teaser boner is just going nuts, isn't it?
Yeah, my teaser brain right now is going crazy. I want to lead pipe Seattle -6.
Ooh.
Or Miami -6.5 at home.
I love both of those plays. They were
Miami,
neither one were going to be
Denver,
my
and
lead pipe,
Miami.
but I don't hate either.
Denver still sucks. Like let's get that out now.
Very much.
They still suck. Miami is legit, and they're 6.5 point favorites at home. I think they win by at least a touchdown. You're telling me Denver is we're a travel podcast too.
Mm-hmm.
I think Denver's going to fly from Denver to Miami while Russell Wilson's doing his jumping jacks in the plane or whatever, and they're going to cover 6.5 points against.
And if that's a game you want, you better hop on that because that thing we already know that's moving to 7. There's no way.
God is just telling me Miami's fucking good and they're going to cover this game.
Miami's really good. I was probably a year early on Miami last year.
In the ass, so be it. But I'm looking at it now. I'm not going to declare it as my lead pipe. I like the Miami 6.5. Buffalo minus 6.5 at Commanders. I know Commanders 2-0, very cute.
Very cute.
But they played Arizona and Denver.
Yeah.
Buffalo, who had a nice week 2 win against Vegas, going in to Washington or wherever, Landover, Maryland, wherever the fuck they play. I think they can kick the shit out of the Commanders. It's a nice little story the Commanders have. You know, new ownership. Sam Howell actually looks decent.
Commanders fans are having a great time, and I don't hate that for them. They deserve it.
I don't think it's going to last long.
No.
I think it might change this week.
One thing that's cool that I think PFT commenter not posted, but he said on the podcast this week for PMT, Josh Harris, their owner.
Right.
So he's been wearing a generic like red polo with no team name on it. So he went off on a whole tangent how that it's over. They're not going to be the Commanders, which I hate the Commanders. I think it's a horrible team name.
Yeah, I thought they were sticking with it, but who knows, man? They were going to be like the Red Wings. Who knows? But anyway, Buffalo picked it up week 2. I'm seeing minus 6.5 at minus 115 right now.
Interesting. So you know that line is moving, but it's moving.
It's moving. We're going to keep that in mind. Let's glance over Atlanta +3 in Detroit. That's an interesting matchup.
It's very interesting, Joey. It's so interesting that I'm making Detroit my favorite of the week.
Okay.
I don't like must-win games this early in the season. This is a must-win game for Detroit. With the amount of emotion that this team has, they are, and to Atlanta's credit, yes, they beat the Packers last week. They were trailing by 12 going into the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
The Packers ran 7 offensive plays. Atlanta's defense is good, but
the
Packers still hung 24.
Yeah, man.
Detroit last week was chaos. You play Seattle, they had 80 points each of the last 2 matchups.
That was a crazy game.
Throw that matchup out the window. To me, Detroit, they're my favorite.
That was an OT loss too, right?
It was an OT loss. And it was also a game where Detroit.
Was it Lockett?
It was Lockett. Lockett had 2 that game.
Man.
I was sitting at the bar with actually some Detroit people. And so they had the Packer game on. They had Detroit. So we watched. And honestly, the Detroit game was so entertaining. And we watched a ton of it.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Really good game. I think Detroit cleans it up this week. I think this is a really good spot for them. Atlanta is overachieving. There's no way that Atlanta is as good as 3-0 would state. And right now, I'm looking on the Action app. I got 5 people or experts picking Atlanta against the spread. Nobody picking Detroit. I love it. I love Detroit. Do we forget Detroit beat who week 1?
Yeah.
Beat the Kansas City Chiefs, the world champs. Yeah, they didn't have Travis Kelce. They didn't have, Chris Jones. Still beat them on the road. So I love Detroit. That is Detroit -3. That is my favorite. If I don't love it, so -3 is 115.
You said you loved it a minute ago. I remember that because I was going to say I like it. I don't love it yet.
So so once it gets outside of 3 is one side. That's when you get outside of 3, I start to get a little not as lovey-dovey, but if you're able to get it at 3, and if you're ballsy enough, you can always take the money line. That's why I bet openly. Again, I think three now. Ding.
Maybe I'll just tease it.
Maybe you'll just tease.
It's
negative EV to tease over 0. You're gonna tease across 0. They're gonna yell at you.
Yeah, that's okay.
They're gonna yell at you.
The plus EV gang can yell at me. But that can be a very good game. I like Detroit right now, though. Atlanta's coming off a good win. In Detroit's like, they're bringing the celebs out and shit too. That's kind of,
dude, that's fun. They got the Gardner Johnson's got the ski mask.
They got something going there at Ford Field, man. I like that. I'm not going to talk much more about it. Total's at 46.
Yeah,
Detroit's offense looks pretty good. Maybe they'll use Gibbs more now that Montgomery's out, for all the Gibbs fantasy owners out there, and prop takers over, that is. They should, because they wasted like a top 15 pick on the guy. Not waste, but used. So maybe Detroit's offense really clicks in this week. I know Amon-Ra left a little banged up, but I think he should be good. They look pretty good through 2, but Seattle, that was a really good win on Seattle. We'll get to Seattle again in a bit. Because before Seattle, Indianapolis plus 7.5 at Baltimore. Baltimore looks pretty nice through 2 weeks. Indianapolis, I'm sure will be starting Minshew, who is a capable backup, but plus 7.5 on the road in Baltimore.
I love Baltimore. If I wasn't taking Detroit, I'd be taking Baltimore. I'll put it that way. And I probably will still take Baltimore. I do think they are going to. I love Gardner Minshew, and I'm actually looking up what his record is against the spread. Gardner Minshew. There she is.
As I said, he's probably one of the better backups in the league now.
He's one of the more exciting.
Right.
7-16 as a starter. Now, is he covering games? Come on, StatMuse, hurry the fuck up.
StatMuse.
Talk about another game. Here we go. Sorry. Oh yeah, no. You don't. Yeah. He doesn't cover. He doesn't cover. He doesn't cover. I'm a big fan. I like Baltimore. I'm gonna lay it.
Yeah, if I were to take that now, I would also lay it. I'm seeing 7.5. I'm sure that'll move. Again, it's only Tuesday.
Yeah, it was as low as 6. I think there was more definitive news on Jesus Christ, Richardson.
Yeah, I think he's still in protocol.
Yeah, and I know the way that he's had 2 injuries, and I think the way he got hurt in week 1, I thought he was concussed in week 1. So
what? Oh, so I think it was off the touchdown run, right? He kind of hit his head.
He definitely
looks good. He looks like
like the real deal.
He's gonna be really good.
But again, he's got that Justin Fields thing where they do not know how to slide, and
That's Josh Allen. I see Josh Allen.
But Josh Allen is 6'5", 6'6", and 240, 260. Yeah, Richardson is the same. I guess you're right. He seems skinnier, but he's not.
I see Josh Allen, Cam Newton. Same.
Yeah.
Just running and throwing their bodies everywhere. Fun to watch, but shit. I mean,
oh yeah, probably one of the
already.
Out of the guys that were drafted this year, he's through 2 weeks, I would say the most impressive. I'm not impressed by Stroud or Young. So other games going through here, Carolina, Seattle, we kind of talked about. Seattle and 6, not a good matchup.
Yeah, Carolina, this is in Seattle too, right?
It is in Seattle.
Podcast. It is in Seattle.
That's a long trip.
I might take this -6 right now. I think this is my lead pipe.
Oh,
Seattle's coming off, an OT, emotional, good win in Detroit. Going back home where they kind of shot the bed week 1 against Puka Nakua in the Rams.
Puka Nakua.
And they're going back home. They want to win. Carolina's not good.
Very
Bryce
bad.
Young, he's got the promise, the potential, but they also lost Shaq Thompson last night. They're down J.C. Horn, so they're banged up. I kind of like Seattle right here a lot to make them Joey's lead pipe lock of the week. -6. It's -6 right now on Tuesday.
-6 on Tuesday. I'm sure that won't change. Yeah, we're gonna get no hate for having our lock picks 5 days before kickoff. Other ones before we kind of run through our favorite and just kind of list them out. Dallas, we got a pair of 12.5-point spreads, and they put them both. Yeah. They're both the 3 o'clock hour, 4 o'clock hour for you. It's gonna be brutal. I think Dallas. Again, Dallas is one that I looked at as possibly being one of mine as the lock of the week. 12.5's a lot. Arizona's bad. As bad as we talked about Carolina being, at least their quarterback is there.
I'm actually not even going to talk about how bad Carolina is, but this pains me to say it, how much of a machine Dallas is.
I was wondering if you were actually going to swallow your pride and do that.
I at week 1, the 40-0 game against the Giants, I was like, no, they're fucking good. Micah Parsons is going to go down as the best defensive player of all time. He's
currently
the best defensive player in the league. He's absolute game changer, all that. Outside of him, they are a very good team. They're going to cover 12 points in Arizona. I'm not too concerned. They're much better than the Giants are. They're going to kick the shit out of the Cardinals. So that's my take.
Love it. It. Second 12.5-point spread in Kansas City. Oh, Bears.
Man, I was hesitant to drink the Chicago Bears Kool-Aid back in the spring, early summer, but I wanted to because I kind of like Justin Fields. I was like, they're due to have. They're due to be good again.
They're definitely due. They're absolutely due. There's no doubt. No doubt.
And but then you look at the rest of their offense, their defense, they're not that
their
good.
Entire roster.
The entire roster, top to bottom.
Their structure of their entire being.
And they're going into Kansas City. I haven't looked much into the whole 12.5, but they look pretty fucking awful through 2 weeks. So, yeah, what do you think?
Yeah. To me, the Bears.
Yeah. Let's go with the numbers here, okay?
Chicago.
Minus 12.5.
Let's chat. They're really bad. Justin Fields is not him. They completely botched this entire deal. Whether it's play calling, well, you can blame play calling, you can blame weapons. I'm blaming the fact that he can't find open receivers when they are staring directly in line. I don't know if you saw
those pictures are definitely worrisome.
And the fact that it's screenshots, multiple. I mean, this dude is just missing shit left and right. He's holding on. And actually, one of the guys said something to the fact that he's waiting for them to get Ohio State open. They're not going to get Ohio State open. You have to throw guys open in the NFL. If you wait for guys to go to Ohio State open, you're going to get sacked. That's just how it goes. The Bears are in a really bad spot, and they're going to lose this week. I don't know exactly what their schedule looks like going forward, but to me, yeah, you completely botched this. Here we go. Let's just look at when are the Bears going to get their first win? October 1st, Denver. Actually, they might get their first win against Denver. they might. But you go Denver, Washington, Minnesota, Vegas, and the Chargers, and then New Orleans. And then I don't think you have another winnable game till you go to get Carolina at home. So long season ahead for Chicago. I don't want to shit down their throat too much. Had a lot of choice words to say after the Packer game week 1. So we own you. We still own you. And fuck you guys. That's pretty much it. So we'll talk about our prime time
NFC
game.
North hate, but yeah, they don't look fun. I don't know if you think if you're thinking about Chiefs minus 12.5.
I don't love laying 12.5 just because it's so many points. And I think so. This game happened last year, and it's singed in my mind. I'm watching the game. I know exactly what bar I'm at. I'm in Green Bay. Let me just double check, make sure I'm not tweaking, because the Bears came back.
What were you drinking?
Covered. I don't remember what I was drinking. The Bears won last year, 19-14 against the Chiefs.
I don't remember that. What the fuck? Okay.
I do. It is singed in my brain. They were 2-point.
They don't win a lot.
Wait. No. Fuck Action App. That's preseason. I was watching the preseason.
You can't go to Action App.
I was at a bar.
Action App's a great app, but you just got to Google that shit. What was I going to say? I do not remember the Bears beating the Chiefs last season.
Yeah, they beat them in preseason.
There's a lot of games, but I feel like that would have been like, oh shit.
Well, maybe. Oh, you know what? Bears Eagles. I was wrong. Wrong Super Bowl team. Bears Eagles. And all they did was cover. They didn't win. Okay. Talk about the last two games of the weekend: Pittsburgh and Vegas on Sunday night.
Here's my thing with this game. This game would have been really fun in like 1975.
Yeah,
that was 2023. So this game's a fucking dud. This is the night game too. Oh man.
We have to watch Pittsburgh again, who people will say whatever. And Sam, I'm sorry if you're watching it. They're not good. They had 2 defensive touchdowns. That's the only reason they won. Their defense is sick. TJ Watt's everything you could ever want in a defense player.
They looked all right last night. But
offensively, dude, Matt Canada blows. There's no creativity. There's no run game. They gave Najee 10 carries last night, and they were playing with
they don't care about him, I don't think.
No, they don't. It's very disappointing.
Or maybe they do, and that's why they're not using him. But
yeah. Well, and it's a 1.5 on the spread, man. Neither of these teams are impressive. I don't even want to talk about the game. I think it sucks.
No need for it right now. I don't think many people will be waiting all day for Sunday night.
Speaking of waiting all day for Sunday night, did you get to, and this will be a perfect segue, did you get to listen to the new Monday Night Football song?
I did. I think Chris Stapleton.
Dope.
Awesome. I mean,
why did Snoop Dogg have to be in it? You can't even tell me Snoop Dogg. You can't even tell me Snoop Dogg wanted to be in that.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg loves football, man. He likes getting involved too.
Snoop Dogg likes getting the check, which I fully respect. Our Monday night matchup is a couple of 2-0 teams. One that we expected, one we didn't expect. Tampa and Philly. In Tampa, it is 6.5 is what I'm seeing. Total around 46.
Chris Stapleton in the air tonight. First of all, for the Monday Night Anthem, it's cool. I want to hear like a full cover start to finish of him doing that song.
If he just came out with one himself, he'd kill it.
Right. Like start to finish, not meant to be for the Monday Night Anthem, but it's a great Monday Night Anthem. When we chat next week, the Tampa Bay Bucks will be 3-0.
Oh, clip that. Keep talking. Keep talking because you're going to have to – you got to explain it. You can't just say it.
5-point dogs at home. They look pretty fucking nice.
Feisty.
Through 2.
Feisty.
Is this NFC South team that has no expectations that surprises through a few weeks like a couple years ago when the Sam Darnold-led Carolina Panthers started 3-0 and Sam Darnold looked really good and then nobody talked about them for the rest of the season? This could be that case.
Could be.
I know that was a mouthful. This could be that situation. Washed up, veteran, goes in, they're 2-0. They look pretty good, and then they shit the bed for the rest of the season. I actually haven't looked much into this game, but if they do win, you heard it here first.
There's no bias there, right?
Eagles are a lot more vulnerable this year than they were last year.
1,000%.
And they didn't. I remember, shout out Dan Koob, who was on, said that the injuries are going to pile up this year.
And now their secondary is walking.
That just doesn't happen. You're going to start seeing that. You're going to start seeing the wear and tear on them. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but they are vulnerable. And Tampa's like decent at least.
Tampa's you got Mike Evans, you got Godwin.
No, they're not tanking. They're not out of it. Like
They're definitely not tanking.
Right.
I mean, Baker's playing his ass off, which
This
I
isn't
respect.
Arizona. This is they're ballsy, man, and they're 2-0 against. Well, Minnesota's solid.
Yeah,
Chicago
solid,
win. I don't know what you want to make of it, but they still won. So home Monday night against Philly. What can Baker do?
If he wins that one, he'll turn me into a believer. I'm not fully sold yet. So that brings us to the end of our episode.
One more Monday night game. We have 2 Monday night games. Rams Bengals.
Where the fuck did my Rams Bengals game go?
Super Bowl rematch. Maybe they took the line down.
They definitely would have. Damn,
Rams plus 110 on the money line. Spread is 1.5 in Cincinnati. Cincinnati obviously 0-2. They look like complete dog shit through 2 weeks. Total's 43.5. I don't care about this game at all right now, but I do like the 2 Monday night game thing. That's pretty cool. I don't care about this game at all right now. So,
I would like to
tune in next Monday though, for sure.
I would like to change my favorite to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Your favorite?
My favorite. Sorry, Detroit. I'm going the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to try to get them around 110, 115 on Bet Openly. This, again, there are not many must wins in this point of the season. The Bengals and the Chargers are both must win this weekend. I mentioned it with the Lions too. The stat that I was looking at, I believe out of the 91 teams, let me see what it was again. Here we are. Since 2002, 99 teams have started 0-3. Just one of those teams, the 2008 Texans, have made the playoffs. Week 3 must win for Bengals, Patriots, Texans, Chargers, Broncos, Vikings, Bears, Panthers, Cardinals. I see at least 2, probably 3 teams that most people put in the playoffs at the beginning of the season. Definitely Bengals, Patriots, Chargers, Broncos, Vikings. I mean, and Bears could be in by an extension, but this is a must win. I didn't realize it was the Monday night game. I don't know why it got oriented different on my screen, so I was looking at it actually earlier.
Yeah, I didn't know we were getting another double Monday night.
Yeah, that's odd, but yes, no, I love that. That's even better. Like, can we talk about that?
Throw in the Super Bowl redemption incentive, and it's a must-win game. Cincinnati's not losing,
and they're at home.
They're at home. That's a lot of travel from Los Angeles. You're right, O'Kane.
Well, and the thing too is, I watched LA last week. They covered on a miracle. They shouldn't have even covered that spread. They kicked a field goal that meant nothing. No, dude, give me Cincinnati.
I didn't watch much of the Niners game actually, and they had a really nice week 1 win in Seattle. But for like a lot of people were really low on them going into the season. I mean, it's a must win for Cincinnati. So I can't see the Rams losing this. But question for you, O'Kane, who on Cincinnati is going to cover Puka Nacua?
He's very he's the definition of shifty. It's like every time I looked up, I was kind of dozing in and out of my alcohol-induced coma on Sunday during the late slate after getting just railed in the noon slate. And it's like every time I looked up, Puka Nacua catching the ball again.
Shit.
I'm like, what the hell is going on? But when Cooper Kupp's not around, they needed a guy to step in and be the volume guy. He's definitely the volume guy.
Right.
I have a question for you, Joey, because we got one last thing to go through.
Yes, we do.
Joey, I need to know, in order, your favorite, your dog, your total, and your lead pipe lock.
Favorite, that is. Not to confuse everyone. Dolphins -6.5. Yes, it's Tuesday. Yes, that line will probably move in Miami's favor, is my guess. They're legit. I went over my reasoning before, so I don't need to go through that now. I'm going to rip through these. My favorite, Dolphins -6.5. Favorite dog, Titans +3.
Mm-hmm.
I like the money line too, but I definitely love the +3 right now. Total, I'm sticking with LSU Arkansas over 56. I think LSU lights it up. I think Arkansas puts up enough points, and that goes over 56. Lead pipe lock. We're recording Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. Right now, it's Seattle -6. That's the lead pipe lock of the week.
Love that.
Over to you.
Seattle -6. All right. Looking at mine, my favorite, I just declared them. It is the Cincinnati Bengals. Lay them as $1.25, whatever you want to do with it. My dog of the week. We didn't touch on it actually a whole lot. It was going to be the Giants just to appease you, but I am actually going to pull that back. I am going to bet the Giants, don't worry, but it is not my underdog of the week. My underdog of the week is in college football, and it is in Tuscaloosa.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Lane train.
The lane train is coming.
Wow. We didn't talk about that game enough. That's going to be a crazy
We
game.
probably didn't. Lane train.
Typically a good matchup.
7.
I like that.
I think this is, and he's already making comments as he always does. This is exactly everything that Lane Kiffin wanted. He has Jackson Dart was the quarterback. Even though Matt Corral was exciting, Jackson Dart's more of kind of his guy. He doesn't do as much with his legs. Matt Corral was really improvisational, where he wants his guy to catch it, whip it, go. Catch it, whip it, go. Where there's not as much improvisation involved. Jackson Dart's his guy. They have Judkins was the leading rusher of the SEC last year. They are a very good team. Alabama's, I don't even know who's going to play quarterback at Alabama. They don't even know who's going to play quarterback at Alabama because I watched the white kid, I think Burchell, whatever the hell his name is. Nothing.
Yeah.
He's a dud.
And
they don't scare me at all. So that's my favorite underdog of the week. Looking at my favorite total, I mentioned it earlier, Tennessee Cleveland under 40, an absolute stinker in the NFL. And then I've gone back and forth as the episode's gone on for my lead pipe lock. It's actually one that I didn't mention yet, and it's going to be one that I don't think a lot of people are zeroing in on. It's the Buffalo Bills and the Washington Commanders over 44.
Total.
I am going over 44.
Yeah.
Looking at the Commanders, a team that you don't think really offense, against Denver, who, not a great defense by any means, 35. You get 20 against Arizona in week 1. Capable offense. Buffalo explodes for 35 last week. Again, Josh isn't throwing 3 picks. That's just not happening. He learned his lesson. I think he's going to dial it back. He's not Brett Favre. He's not going to go out there and win games doing that. So I love this. I don't think they're going to be conservative. These are teams that, to be honest, when was the last time they played? 21. Ooh, the last time they played 43-21 final. But it's been a couple of years. So that is my lead pipe lock. Before we do get out of here, I do want to mention early bets for college football. I forgot to mention them earlier. I like Auburn plus 7.5, the over in OU in Cincinnati at 60.5, Colorado catching 21, Ole Miss catching 7, Kansas and BYU over 56, Washington State catching 3, and then we did mention Iowa 14.5 point dogs. I got a unit on all those early bets. So
already.
I'm excited, man. We're going to have a great weekend of football. We're going to be absolutely packed, loaded. And the boys are back.
Oh, we're back. Those busy schedules, they calm down a little bit. We're going to be back hopefully on a weekly basis. We're going to have some fun guests coming up too, which is cool.
We have some very fun guests.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get some recurring guys on. I know we shouted out a couple of them earlier.
Yes.
They'll be back on soon. I know they have some of them have dad duty to worry about, but when they come on, it's great. And we'll we'll talk some more ball, man. But I like this. We're gonna keep doing the favorite dog, and the lead pipe.
Love it.
Going forward. I like that.
Alrighty, man.
Let's see. One of us maybe we'll go 4-0. Maybe the other will go 1-4. Maybe we'll both just go 2-2, or
we'll probably just both go 2-2.
So
alrighty, man. Well, for Jake O'Kane, Joey over there from Lock Talk.
Yes, sir.
Hey, make sure you're getting on the app. Lock Talk, by the way.
Yes, sir. Once a certain partner gets back from his honeymoon, we will be pumping out the newsletters. We'll get more content going out there. If you're interested in writing newsletters,
let us know.
I'll out your boy.
Let us know.
Alrighty, fun, man. We need an O'Kane newsletter before the weekend.
I could probably
recap everything we talked about on the pod tonight.
I got time. Maybe
we'll list out
the
favorite dog, etc. Man, let's do it.
Alrighty.
All right, O'Kane.
Well, we will talk to you later then. Thank you all for listening, and good luck this weekend.
Yes, sir.